Good morning, you wonderful, wonderful people. It's Wednesday. Yes, I know what day it is today. Let's get straight into the meat and potatoes as we talk about the Letecia Stauch case. Look, I'm not a channel that can sit there for hours upon hours, allowing you to view the courts through my channel. But I can give you short, sharp shots of what's going on. So what is going on? Well, as we move into, day 7, we're hearing a lot. Now, they closed out last week showing the jury pictures of the suitcase, picturing the scene from when poor Gannon was sadly murdered by Letecia. And look, innocent until proven guilty, but I have my thoughts about it. And other people have their thoughts about it too. Her brother has been brought into the court, and he doesn't believe her shit either. But that story, that situation, goes even deeper, because it would appear that her brother happened to be there while she was transporting the suitcase that would later be found to contain the remains of Gannon. Let's have a quick look at it together. So, Letecia Stauch's brother testifies he doesn't think she snapped. Now, originally he thought that she had nothing to do with it. He went down there to try and help her, which we're going to hear about. So, before he could even begin his testimony Tuesday morning, Letecia Stauch's half-brother began sobbing and yelled out, "Why, Tisha?" before the judge called for a break, and the jury was escorted out of the courtroom to give Dakota time to compose himself. He was in bits. He needed to settle himself down. Letecia Stauch sat stoic and showed no emotion to her brother's outburst on the witness stand. Minutes later, the jury returned to hear the 6th day of testimony in the trial for Stauch, who is charged with the first-degree murder of her stepson, Gannon. Now, Larry and his mother and aunt all travelled to Colorado from North Carolina in the days after Gannon disappeared to actually support her. We believed she was being wrongly accused of something that we believed she would never do, he said. We also wanted to come out and help look for him. We did. He testified that they never assisted with searches for Gannon, but had asked Stauch about them. He said Stauch told them they could talk to Al, which was Gannon's dad, and go if they wanted to. Larry testified that they stayed at a hotel for a few days and rented a cargo van to retrieve personal belongings from Stauch's home. He said the police were there and looked over everything they brought out. I felt like we were being looked at as criminals. They were looking at the whole family. It wasn't just her. Which is understandable. That's what you want. Do you know what I mean? Larry testified that his aunt had rented the cargo van and Stauch rented another budget van under her name. They transferred the items from one van to the other, he said. As they did that, he noticed Stauch struggling with an older green suitcase. "Did you offer to help her?" asked Prosecutor Dave Young. "Yes." "What did she say?" "She didn't need help." "Did you ask what was in the suitcase?" "Yes," Larry replied. "She told me it was softball stuff," he added as his voice cracked. Obviously, at that point, the penny drops. He knows what's in it. You know, he's recollecting, now understanding what is in that case. Prosecutor put up a photo of the suitcase found under the Florida bridge with Gannon's body inside on March 20th, 2020, about 6 weeks after Stauch visited Florida. Larry identified it as the same suitcase he had seen Stauch struggling to carry. "I didn't feel right about it," he said. "I just felt like it was too heavy for her." Larry testified that after packing up the van, Stauch and her daughter left and planned to go to South Carolina. He and his other family members returned to North Carolina. In court Tuesday morning was the first time he said he had seen Stauch since that day in early February 2020. I'm going to skip forward a little bit here. We know that she's pleaded insanity. When everything first happened, we found out they had found a little boy's body. We found out where he was found. At that point, I knew she did it, he said, because when I seen that suitcase and asked her about it, she was acting funny to me. And yeah, I thought she might have snapped, went crazy, but now, no. No, Lowry said. I just feel like too much got done for her to be saying that now. And what does he mean by that? well, he means the same as what we mean. If someone snaps, if someone has some kind of psychological break, they snap. Like I've said before, I've seen it. I saw it with my own mum when she tried to take her own life. I've seen this situation play out, and it doesn't play out like this. This methodical way of trying to cover your tracks, the leading up to it, what we've heard with the candle, the burns, so on and so forth. We're now seeing that there was fake polygraph audio done. They wired out the house. They've heard this conversation that was played in court, and you know, Ickard Mel has got a shorter video where he shot. If you're interested in that audio, go and check it out. But she was clearly trying to cover all bases. I would imagine the fake polygraph, I don't know what's been said because I haven't looked at it fully in depth, but to me that shows that she was trying to train in getting around a polygraph test, seeing whether she thought that she could beat one in the instance that she is given one. So she had covered many bases, and that is not the actions of someone who is insane. You know, you could say that if someone had a snap and they did someone in insanity, when that passes and they understand what they've done and they're no longer in the grips of that, there would be sorrow, there would be sadness, there would be an utter breakdown when you come to the realization of what you've done, surely. And she did none of that. She did none. So when you say that Letecia Stauch is guilty, and we say that we are, you know, advocates for innocent until proven guilty, I don't think that even sits right here in this case. I don't think there's a problem with saying she is guilty, because she's not necessarily saying I'm not guilty. She is saying I did this, but I did it because of this. And at this present time, it doesn't sit. It doesn't sit. She knew what she was doing. She did it, and she set in motion a plan to get away with it that went very in depth. Let me know what you think, and I will give you an update as we move through the days. Catch you all in the next one.